What's up, guys? Welcome to the channel. Today I decided to hit that record button because I want to share with you how you can get to survive these difficult times when it comes to trading. And of course, majority of the people for the last 1 month and a half, they have been going through losing streak. Myself, I've been the same situation, but there are these things that they have really helped me to go through this moment. And of course, to really they have really helped me to protect my capital as well as my mindset. So stick around, guys, because I'll be sharing these 5 things, and these are things that do apply for those who are still new to the market, that is the beginners. And these are things that get to differentiate between long-term traders and those short-term traders. So we'll be looking into them. And of course, guys, if you find the video valuable, I would really appreciate you by just going ahead. You get to share your thoughts about these past 4 weeks or even 1 month and a half. And of course, you can get to do that by just talking to us in the comment section. So let's just go ahead, guys. We get into it. Losing streaks, these are normal times when it comes to the market. So it's very important for you to understand as a trader. At some point, you'll be going through those losing streaks, and these are things which are resulted by different factors, different elements of the market. And the current losing streak is mainly being influenced by the random tweets or the current war which is going on between the Iran and of course the United States. And of course, we have seen Trump have really been manipulating the market of late, which makes it very difficult for us to react into the market. And of course, it gets to end up causing us to lose money. So number one, what you need to do, especially when you're going through those difficult losing street, the first thing that you need to consider putting in place or implementing is the position sizing. You really need to understand that when you're in those losing street, the first thing that you need to prioritize is protecting your capital. Any pro trader will tell you capital is your main or is your ammo, that is your bullets. And of course, you need to make sure that you get to prioritize it. And when you're going through those unpredictable moments, those losing street, you really need to cut off when it comes to risk. This is not the time that you go ahead to expose yourself. You get to add to position to already running position or a losing position. You really need to take the journey slowly. And of course, you also need to make sure that in case, like, I'll give you a scenario. In case, like for instance, you have been risking 1% per every trade. Every time you get, like for example, you get two losses 1% each consistently, you should consider at least lowering your position sizing. This way it gets to give you room to have proper mindset. And of course, it also gets to give you the patience and of course the time for you to also uh, 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 to see what's going on and of course to position yourself the right way. So for instance, if you get to lose if you are exposing like 1% per every trade and you get to have five consecutive losses, that will translate to around 5%. But if you get to lower that loss size to around 0.5 and you get to take 5 consecutive losses, you might realize that will be 0.25 in total loss. Is going to really get to save you a lot of pressure because you won't be finding yourself in a position whereby you want to revenge trade and to recover back the money. So it's very important that you get to have that and consider that always when you're in those losing street a time like this. So if you get two consecutive losses and of course you have been exposing a consistent loss size, you need to at least take a step back and of course lower the risk so that you don't have that pressure. So that's our number one thing, and this has really helped me. I have an account at the moment. It's still on the evolution stage. I'm down 8%, and I've been trading it for the last 1 month. And of course, I'm really taking the account really slow because I need to bring it up and break even from 8% in total drawdown as per today. And of course, I'm looking forward for that situation to change because in the morning I took a trade that is on GBP card And of course, we really need to give it time, let it play out. And of course, if all goes well, because my profit, and of course my take profit, my reward rate is usually 2%. Of course, it will be a very huge milestone for me to start bringing the account to life. Well, you need to stop taking, that is doing revenge trading. This is something that nobody can get to teach you. Myself, it has taken me around 2 years and a half to learn to stop revenge trading. There are a couple of things which you usually get to reveal or immediately get to happen every time you get to revenge trade. And of course, this is something that you're going to experience until you get to find yourself doing it. First of all, whenever you're going through those losing streak, it's important that you get to understand that your account is going to receive heavy blows. And for that case, if you get to lose like 1%, and this is a net A plus setup, because we're talking about the volatility or the manipulation which is happening because of Donald Trump. In case the account get that hit of 1%, you don't need to go back and of course take another trade immediately. Maybe you get risk 1.5 in order for you to recover the loss of the 1%, and of course to have a profit of 0.5. It's very, very important that you get to have that resilience, that patience. You get to take a step back so that you can get to have a clear mind. And of course, if you are to come back to the market, at least have a period, a break of at least 24 hours. That's a scenario that I usually get to. It really gets to help me a lot, because remember, since I'm a swing trader, the maximum trade that I can get to take in a week, they are around two. So in case I get to take a loss, let's say on Tuesday, I have to take for a few days, or even at least a minimum of around 24 hours before I can get even another setup, because I have to wait for the daily candle to stick to close. And for that case, it has really, really helped me to avoid this problem of course of revenge trading. This is a problem that you get to see with most people who get to do either those people who do either scalpers or day traders, intraday traders. They really get to suffer a lot from this. But for the case of those people who do swing trading, this is not a problem common to them. So what happens whenever you get to take a loss and you get to revenge trade? Of course, I've seen scenarios whereby myself I've done it, whereby you get to go back in the market with a bigger lot size as compared to the one that you had taken a loss. Of course, your mind is not clear. So for that case, you may you find yourself taking a C plus setup, which is not it doesn't have a high probability of winning. In other scenarios is whereby you get to find yourself that you just went against all the rules that are guessed to guide you before taking in a trade. And of course, the biological proof have shown that the human mind, when under emotions, its judgment or its logic tends to lower. So in that situation whereby you are emotional and you're feeling the pain of losing the money, if you go back to the market, trusting me, the probability of you taking a loss is usually almost 90%. So it's very important that you get to have that ability to step away from the market whenever you get to take a loss. And this one is going to help you to avoid those reckless losses. Remember, these are the losses which are hindering you from becoming profitable. So it's very, very important that you get to avoid. Well, this is something that it really gets to take a lot of time before you can get to accept. And of course, is allowing yourself to accept that losing is part of the journey. Remember, even those the perfect system usually take losses at some point. This is the same scenario when it comes to trading, and that's why trading is usually said it's all about probability. We get to take setups which have high probability of winning as compared to those ones which have lower ability to win. So for that situation, it's very, very important that you get to accept before taking any trade, accept that that trade can go into a loss, despite the fact that you have observed all the rules. You may find that trade getting into a loss. So accepting loss through this journey is part of the game. But what separates those profitable traders and of course the huge majority is the fact that you need to make sure that your winning rate is more as compared to what you are losing. For instance, if you get to take two trades and of course your TP is 2:1, uh, for that case you're going to have at least 4% for two consecutive wins. In case you get to have three consecutive losses, you will still be up 1%. So that's why we're talking about probability. You need to make sure that your winning rate is much greater as compared to what you are losing. So it's very, very important to have this in mind. Make sure that you get to have a consistency when it comes to risk management. You don't risk 2% in one trade. Maybe you get to take a loss on that one, and then you get to take a trade, another trade with 1%. In case that goes into a profit, into a TP, you may find that balance. Are you having that difficulty when it comes to the two balancing? So make sure you have some consistency when it comes to the risk that that is the lot size, as well as make sure your winning rate is much higher as compared to your losses. But losses, they will always be there, and the sooner you get to accept that, the easier it's going to become for you as a trader. Well, number four, and this is something that myself I've struggled with for a very, very long time, until to a point whereby I had that mindset shift, is whereby you need to focus on the process. Money is going to come. Focus on the process, not the money. So, for instance, if you get to come into the market with the mindset, let's say you're trading at a $5,000 account and you're looking forward for this month, let's say it's a pro firm, you're looking forward to get a paycheck by the end of the week. That have that entitlement, that money oriented mindset is going to mess you up, because you may find taking low probability setups, or even you may find yourself forcing trades which don't exist. So for that case, it's important that you get to execute your trades, focusing on the process, consistent execution of this trade without having that money mentality. And this is something that have really, really helped me in a big way. And of course, that's the reason why, even if I'm still in that losing streak for the past 1 month, I'm still pushing the process consecutively. And this is something that I'm looking forward to implement in the future, because it's something that I've realized, if you get to have that money mindset, and this is something that gets to affect so many people with the pressure that comes from the social media, the sooner you get to understand it's not about the money is going to come if you get to stick to the process. So it's worthwhile knowing that you need to keep following your rules. You need to execute the trade consistently, and of course without emotion. Now let's proceed, guys. You get to look into the last one in our list, and of course this is something that is very, very important for you to build as an individual, and this is something myself I started developing once I stopped trading with a group. At some point you'll be forced to build that confidence. You need to trust yourself. Whenever you get to take a trade, you need to give it room for it to play out. And of course, when you are trading as a group, especially when you have colleagues who trade different strategies, you may find yourself building a self-doubt, and it is something that can really, really get to sabotage your trading journey, as well as your win rate, because you may find your analysis gets to allow you to execute the trade, but the colleague that you're trading with, maybe they're using a different strategy, and of course their entries could not be aligned, and for that case they could discourage you from taking that trade. And of course this is something that may end up causing you to have that doubt, and it's something that can really, really get to affect you for a very, very long time. So these are things that I've learned, and of course I execute them every single week when I come to the market. If you can consider at least learning one of them, trying to execute, to actualize them every single time you get into the market, trust you me, you get a little bit better, and of course a little bit closer to your profit, to your profitability. Thank you for watching this video to this point. I do appreciate you guys for taking the time to listen to me, And of course, if you have found the video valuable, consider hitting the subscribe button. This is my first video. I'm looking forward for this journey to be amazing together. And of course, you'll be part of this team. And you can get to do that by hitting that subscribe button, as well as talk to me if you are a trader and what are the challenges that you are facing, especially for the last 1 month. Have a good time, guys. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.